Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, and former mortician's assistant. Beware, beware. That might not be a phone jingling in your pocket. Join the Nevermorians for morning mischief and madness at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Your sense of humor is the only thing you need to wear.
Had to sneak in when the big eye wasn't looking. How the heck are you? Good morning. Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore for May 21st, 2020. Hope everybody's having a good morning. A little cloudy, a little chilly today here outside the compound, but otherwise it's good. And Carl Witzman, Rick Bradley, Robert Beatty. Excuse me, I must be allergic to great intelligence. Gentlemen, glad to have you here. Hope you're having a great morning so far. And let's get your comments fired up. You're already starting to talk, and I love it. There we go. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Carl Witzman, Meredith Lachgren. Mwah. Good morning, Nevermorians. Time for that big gulp of coffee. Boy, howdy, aren't we? Isn't that the truth? Oh yeah. And here we go. And Robert Beatty is excited. I'm hopping across the border for a haircut. Hey, if you come to Indiana tomorrow, we're in phase 3. We are entering phase 3 of our lockdown. A lot of previously non-essential businesses are now being allowed to open on a very limited basis, as long as social distancing and face is observed and face masks are worn wherever possible. So it's possible maybe we'll come out of this alive yet. Glad to have you here, and glad to have you, Sarah. Morning to you, darling, and Michaela. Hello to you, my sweetheart, and bless you, Brian. Meredith, bless you too. I'm so glad you're all here. I really am, and I'm good with haircuts, says Carl Witzman. Well, I just missed one spot. Anyway, Rick Bradley says, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, my friend." And sorry, I meant to post that publicly. That's okay. Well, maybe he's advertising. Go get your hair styled at Carl's of Danville. That's right. Yeah, you can look sweet and cool like all the hip kids, and he'll make your hair look like his beard. It's awesome. And Rick, glad to see you, sir. Hope you're having a great morning today. Always a pleasure. And what have we got going here? I don't know. And come on over, Robert Beatty. Yeah, there you go, Robert. Pop on into to Carl's, where the first hair is always free. So we're trying to drum you up some business here, Carl, just in case. So let's see what's going on today. Not a whole lot. I've got a trip I've got to make. I'm venturing into Illinois today, so pray for me. After all the nasty comments I've made about it over the last 5 years, actually my whole lifetime. But no, we've got a mission of mercy today. And we're going to pop in, pop out, and get some things accomplished. Also, let's see what else we got, and that's all we've got going as far as broadcasts today. Today is Thursday. Hope you all checked out Tuesday night's Clever Tile Painting. I'm so very proud of that show. Cindy Kapp and Charles F. Millhouse had a wonderful interview with me. Actually, it was more like they carried the interview. I was just there to facilitate. So anyway, now, like I said, we are looking at moving from phase 2 to phase 3 in our lockdown here in Indiana, except for 3 different counties. Marion County around Indianapolis, Cass County, which I think is in the northwest, and then one of the counties, I think encompassing Gary, Indiana. Those 3 are going to go up to phase 2 because of the heavy concentration of COVID-19 cases there. But otherwise, we are looking at a little bit of easing, and we'll see if we can still keep that second wave at bay, at least temporarily. But what's it like for you guys? Have you gotten any word on when you are going to be allowed to come closer to frolicking in the sunshine? And some places are going to start opening here at the end of the month in Illinois. Fingers crossed this era, Sarah. It keeps going that way. Definitely, definitely. Well, I think we all, regardless of our political inclination or terror of the Maestro Miley Cyrus, that we want life to return to normal, and we want the economy. But the thing is, we don't know what the new normal is. What do you guys think the new normal may look like from here on in? Keep in mind that I've done a great deal of study on this. Not as much as some of you, maybe, but I was seeing some stuff from some of the scientists, including Dr. Farsi, who's saying that we may be heading for more periodic, pandemics, and they could be worse. So anyway, what do you guys think? Let's hear your opinion. And hey, says Chris and Mackey, hey, it's cheap grass is free. Buy a farm, you get all three. Glad to see you here. And half. Let's see, hashtag Wolf Vet got recast. Okay, I'm unfamiliar with Wolf Vet. I should know that one, but I don't. Please explain. And Magic of Big Daddy Cool John Pica. Tennessee is entering phase 2 tomorrow, but Nashville is in phase 1. I can understand that due to the concentration of being a large municipality and harder to keep the Maestro Miley Cyrus at bay there, I can imagine. So, well, good luck to you, John. Good luck to everyone. And I know that Illinois has divided the state into, 4 areas. And each one is, like advancing at their own rate. Again, I just kind of checked in on it this week. And Eric Hawkins, good morning, all. Good morning to you, Eric. And I hope we are on for today, sir. Looking forward to seeing you again. And Carl Witzman said, we snuck over to Noblesville, Indiana, where the cases were 8 times as bad as Danville, but we've stayed far away from others. Amazing to see how few masks there were. Yeah, it's kind of funny because about 2 weeks ago, I went out and I went into Walmart and I probably ran across maybe 100, at least observed at least 100 people, and saw maybe a slightly more than a dozen people wearing some sort of face covering. And about half of the employees, I felt like taking pictures and sending them to the manager, because half the employees had their masks down, like below their noses, which I saw a cartoon. It's like a guy wearing a jock strap, but just having the boys encompassed and not the weaponry. But anyway, so it's not quite as effective. It kind of disturbs me. Because I'm a little bit paranoid about disease anyway, and I'm looking at that and going, these people are out to kill me. They're all enemies of they're all part of the Illuminati. They fear me. Anyway, John B. Pica says, I hate that phrase new normal. It's been repeated so much that we have been conditioned to accept it. And maybe that's the purpose of it, really, if you want to get paranoid about it. And frequently I do, John, as you know. But yeah, and it's one of those things where, having lived through a number of things, never anything as life-changing as, say, 9/11. Things have changed radically since 9/11. And I worked in the water industry at the time. We were in charge of your water, people. And things changed for us rapidly. And things are still in place that, it's not that I'm not at liberty to discuss them, but, there's a lot more security going on their end that is helping keep the water supply safe. And, we've never really come back in a lot of ways from 9/11 to what was happening September 10th. And I suspect we're going to see a lot more of that now anymore. And you really want my opinion? John B. Pica, if you can express it without vulgarity, I would welcome it. Seriously, I do welcome contrary opinions to mine. And as long as we can agree to disagree, that would be great. And hashtag new normal. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. We keep talking about it. Post it every couple minutes so somebody gets triggered here. Carl Witzman, I was an antisocial germaphobe before it was cool. Oh, I guess I was doing the same thing. I mean, I'm not as bad as some people. I'm just one of those people that I'm a hypochondriac. I'm not really a germaphobe. I'm more of a hypochondriac. It's like if I hear the symptoms, I've got it. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. I think I got that from I think that's kind of some weird offshoot from my crazy grandmother, who was a nurse at Lakeview Hospital. How's that, Carl? How's that for a trip down memory lane? And she was kind of peculiar in a number of ways. I think that's where I got it. And she, it's like if you or I got a cold, to her, it's like, oh, you just got a cold. That's nothing to worry about. But when she got the same thing, it was a low-grade viral infection. It's like, the terminology. Good for you, girly. Anyway, let's go back and say hello to some people. Let's say, John Pica, we have 300 deaths statewide, only 33 in Nashville. Okay, this crisis in quotes. Yeah, if only 300 statewide, Indiana's stomping you guys. We've got, I'd have to check. I don't think we have I want to say we're in the neighborhood of 8. We've had a number of deaths. But I think we've still had more than you have. So, which is nothing to celebrate. I don't care what the White House says. I don't think this is a race to see how much of the population we can eliminate. But anyway, people that we haven't eliminated that we are so glad to see are like Brian Rhodes. Brian, glad to have you here. Bill Sarton, as always, a pleasure. Mara Spicer, moi. Love you, hon. Hope you're having a great, great morning. And Teresa Dunn, moi, to you. And there we go. All right. And good morning, good people, says Brian Rhodes. Nothing for me? What the hell? Anyway, Brian, great people, you. I'm so glad you're here, as always. And weaponry, drink. Yeah, because you know what I was referring to. And I wasn't doing what you thought. I was just cleaning it and it went off. Anyway, Teresa Dunn. Good morning, Brian and fellow Furthermore. It's Teresa. I'm so glad you were here as always. Hope you're doing well. And of course, Teresa reminds me, because she's good at this. I see her as my young Padawan that I've taught her to promote. And so everyone, if you're watching this, and even if you're watching on the reruns later on, because this show is evergreen, it stays good. You don't even have to wrap it in plastic. Put in a link to your creative endeavors. If you own your own business, put that in here. If you have a web page or a Kickstarter, or someone you think doesn't talk about themselves and should enough, put their names in here. And also, especially if you have a charity that you're fond of, please put that in here. And let's share this message. And a lot of you are really good about that, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. But share this message, and we'll put it in front of a few hundred pairs of new eyes. How's that sound? And good morning, dudes and dudettes. Bill Sarn, as always, glad to have you, sir. All right, this crisis, and that's John B. Pica's air quotes, is manufactured as a dress rehearsal for something bigger. UN Agenda 2030 is to bring about one world communist government. I've heard that. I'm not going to make fun of you for that. I really not. And I know a lot of people kind of like go, oh, one world government, one world religion, sort of thing. I'm not going to discount it. I know there are some people who would not mind if we had a more socialist form of government, not that we don't already to a degree. And I have to say, as a libertarian, I am very much for a reduction in government. But I was really glad to get that 1,200, if you know what I mean. My love can be purchased, just to let everyone know that. I can be bribed. Watch this. And it doesn't surprise me, because the idea of a more socialist agenda for all countries has been on the books for over a century with some folks, ever since Karl Marx put pen to paper. So I'm not going to discount it, John. I really am not, because who would have thought 50 years ago we would be where we are now? I mean, you are but a mere youth compared to some of us, John. But how much of your life, how much of everyone's life has changed? Since you were a kid. I remember I was about 14 years old or so, and I was having a talk with my great grandfather in 1971. I remember it distinctly. And he was 90 at the time, and he had seen like the end of the old west, bang bang bang. He had seen a time when you didn't have indoor plumbing, electricity, radio, television, phonographs. You didn't even have airplanes at one point in time, or automobiles. He grew up in a world without a lot of what we now consider to be essential to our daily way of life. And he, told me, he said, I cannot imagine anything new coming down the path. And I'm thinking, if he were alive today, one, he'd be he'd be about 150 years old and cranky. That's probably where I got that from. And he wouldn't recognize the world in which we live. And I think about when I was a kid and how much the world has changed since I was a callow youth. So, John, if you're looking for a fight, you're not getting it from me. And I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not even going to say we're going to agree to disagree, because I can see that happening. And not today or tomorrow, but 5 or 10 years from now. Yeah, and there have been aggressive efforts in that regard. I mean, even in our own country, look at the campaign of some of the candidates, and I'm not talking about just the Communist Party, who nobody, I don't think anybody really takes that group seriously anymore. But like the Green Party, for instance, is and even elements of the Democrats have been more left than centrist, or at least those are the ones that seem to have seized the narrative rather than the. I'm sure there are more centrist ones, but and in some cases there almost has to be. But I'm 5 to 10 years. I'm thinking, John, you might be right. And hashtag I will not comply. John, I agree. That we agree on completely. Whoever's in charge, I'm against them. So that's the way it works. I'm a child of the 60s. And yep, we're still on. Eric, thank you very much. We will see you later, my friend. Big Daddy Cool says, I am like you, Brian. I am an empathetic hypochondriac, which means we are in hell, brother. We are totally in hell. The minute I cross the threshold in Walmart, I look around and I'm like, I might as well be in the leper colony. It's like this is gonna be rough. I mean, I am bad to the point, and I've said it before on the show. There is a story called "Death Be Not Proud," or no, "The Glass Menagerie." I believe it is. It's about the girl that has the brain tumor, and every time I read it, I get these blinding migraines because I'm sure that I've got a brain tumor. And it's like, well, I'm not dead yet. I guess I don't. So Carl Winsman says, my mother was a nurse too. I heard stories. It scared me. Yeah, when I was 16, I had to have a cyst removed from my tailbone, and my doctor offered me the choice of hospitals because, as you know, we had two at the time, and I chose St. Elizabeth's. And my grandmother was livid, and she was like, well, why didn't you go to Lakeview where I'm working? I said, I don't want you poking around in my surgery. That's why. She goes, well, the same thing. I said, you've told me too many stories about what goes on there. And she goes, well, the same thing happens at St. E. I said, yeah, but at least I don't know about it, and I don't know who's doing it. And it was kind of, I loved my surgeon. He was this gruff old guy. You could see him being played. Wallace Beery was too warm and fuzzy. There were some of these guys. If you think of the guy that was in Home Alone who played the next door neighbor, how he could be kind of gruff. He was like that, but like gruff to 100 times more. And he would come in, and I loved it. He would be like, my mom was there, and he'd like, well, and he'd be, he knew my grandmother. He's like, And then he'd come up to me, and he was just so nice to me and answered all my questions and, put my fears to, aside. And one morning he came in, and my grandmother was talking about something, and the surgeon just looked at her and said, get the hell out of here. You're scaring the boy. And he threw her out of my room. And I'm like, thank you, doctor. Yeah, thank you, doctor. I don't need to hear this stuff from my grandmother. And he goes, I've talked to her before. I don't have a lot of patience with your grandma. I'm like, well, join the club. It's like everyone shares genetics with her, feels the same way. So anyway, Rick Bradley, to change the subject, says, come and check out Rick Bradley's author page at Facebook. It's called R Bradley 42 because that's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. He wants to see you there, so don't let the boy down. He puts up some funny things and updates to upcoming projects. Very good. And TL Shively, morning, Orko. Mwah, Evelyn, how are you? How's Paul? How's the family? Good to see you, sweetheart. Mwah. Love my Evelyn. And Teresa Dunn, I love her too because she's putting up something about poetry expressions, which you need to purchase from Cherry House Press. It's available on Amazon in paperback form. You will love it. And who have we here? The one, the only Paul F. Ruff. Good morning, Ruff. Good morning to you. I can't talk. I need kovfefe. Homemade pumpkin spice. Here's the secret, people. If you like pumpkin spice, buy pumpkin spice on the spice rack. Then take like a little, just make your coffee the regular way. If you use like a regular coffee maker, but just a couple taps of pumpkin spice on top, and then mix the grounds together because otherwise that stuff turns to concrete and you may have a flood. But put that through, and it will perk through the pumpkin spice and infuse the flavor in your coffee, and it's amazing. Also, we've been putting some of that on applesauce. And that's been a treat. So anyway, Paul S. Roof, it is a pleasure, sir, to have you here as always. And Sarah goes, aha, I'm watching on the main page now. Morning, people I love. Hopefully I'm one of them. Of you. Anyway, glad you're here. Glad everyone's here. And whether you're watching on my profile page or you're watching on our YouTube channel at Camouflage 61821, which if you're watching there or you just happened by, please subscribe to my channel because at that point I get if I get to 100 subscriptions, and I'd like to do it by the end of the month because I have an agenda, then I get a specific URL that'll make it even easier to find me on there rather than a misspelled word and my old zip code. Anyway, good to have you, Sarah. I'm so glad you're here as always. And there's the League of Impossibilists. That 1200 was already mine. Now I hope we're not talking about that thing where, what is it? The minute I got a social security number, the government was putting back money for me. I hope it's not that because I'm hoping to tap into that soon. Author Michaela Jade says, so here's my thing with masks. The idea is great, but if the same person wears the same mask into multiple places or in front of multiple people without washing them, they are useless. True. Same with gloves. Once you have touched a contaminated surface, those gloves are now dirty. See the problem now? If people can wash their hands, then new surfaces for the germs to breed on isn't going to do any good. Yeah, exactly. That, and the thing is, Michaela, you bring up some excellent points. We do need to be more vigilant about our masks, particularly the homemade ones, because they don't block the germs as well as the N95. And plus, I see people wearing shiny masks, and I happen to know that the more artificial the fabric is that you're using, the less effective it is against against the stuff. What any mask does, though, and this is true of the transparent face masks, the big plastic things, is that it stops you from spraying. Because one danger has been like colds and flu, that you cough or something and suddenly the spray is floating in the air, and the stuff will die in the air, exposed to air, but it takes time. And my understanding is the Mycorrhiza myelocirrus has a longer shelf life than, say, influenza or what we call a cold. So, and I am no doctor. Any medical advice you hear on this show, you are to check. All right, please. And everyone should be checking this stuff anyway. We all need to get smarter about this. But no, I agree with you. In fact, we are washing our masks today. We will be wearing fresh ones. And what else? And I wash my hands. Probably I do a surgical wash at least twice a day, but when I'm in the home. But anytime I come back from outside or when I'm outside, pardon me. For instance, when I'll wash before I leave the house, I promise. But like, let's say I go to Effingham, Illinois. Every time I go stop to pee, which will be about every 20 minutes, wherever I go, I do the surgical scrub on my hands. And then when I do it all the way back, pardon me, and I do it while I'm in. If I'm getting food and I get a chance to be in a restaurant, I will do it there. And then once I get back in the house, I do it one more time. On days, there are days I don't leave the house. So, I do a couple a day, just the same, just in case. But you're right. A little bit of paranoia this time is not bad. In fact, it could save your life rather. And John B. Pica says, I am a libertarian as well. I've been studying the New World Order agenda since I was a child. It's been incremental over the last 100 years. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, there have been other times, like with the Trilateral Commission and all, and everyone's going, oh, dear God, what are you two talking about now? Oh, yeah. I started studying conspiracy. Yeah, I've kind of kept my finger on the pulse all my life because I found it interesting. But years ago when I wrote my Bloodshot book, I had heard of MK Ultra, which was a U.S. government-funded organization that was trying to create, basically, it was mind control in order to create assassins, create super soldiers, etc. Call them OMAC, call them Manchurian candidates, call them what you will. But once I started down that rabbit hole, I have found conspiracy theories fascinating. Now, I'm not sure. And some I will say, I can see it. A number of them are like, are you sure? It's like, how many times were you struck in the head as a child? The Mandela effect being one of them. So anyway, but no, I get it, John. I probably you're going to have to go quite a ways before I start poking fun at you about it. Anyway, I'm not saying I disagree at all. D.L. Shifley, my second book in the Sanctuary Guardian series, republished. Yes. And finally got moving with the series and get book 3 out by the end of this year. You can join her readers group to keep up with her and the Guardians. Excellent. Oh, Lynn, I'm proud of you. I know Lynn and I have talked about this, and I know she struggled. I'm so proud of you, hon. You done good. You are awesome. That sort of stuff inspires me to keep going. That really does. Chris and Mackey says, Dan Johnson is writing my next project. Hashtag Ryan Wilson is Wolf Vet. It's about a VA hospital Black Ops experiment gone AWOL, and this time battling a cyborg. Hashtag Valley Wood Strong. Oh, Chris, that sounds awesome. Seriously, dude. Please keep us posted, all right? That sounds fantastic. That is great. Thank you for sharing it, my friend. And let's go back. I just shot through a whole bunch of other people. And League of Impossibles, John Pica says, and now we are on the downhill fast track to the end game. Could be. It could be. I'm not saying I disagree with you there either. Rick Radley, the world has changed a ton since I was a kid in the 80s. I mean, hairstyles alone. Yeah. Yeah, where are the hair bands now when we need them, right? And John Pica says, according to the symptoms, I've had COVID-19 for the last 10 years. Yeah, and I've had pre-senile dementia since I was 8. I take those tests and I'm like, oh my God, have I ever been okay? No. And Christian Basil, good to see him, my friend. Hashtag will not comply. This hashtag existed in my high school dating life before hashtags. Oh, yeah. Hashtag no freaking way, Brian. Hashtag I'm calling the police, Brian. Yeah. Hashtag officer, that's the man. I understand you, Christian. Be sure to check out here on Facebook and on several other wonderful venues. They are wonderful if they carry Tales of the Traveling TARDIS.com. Anyway, it's a fantastic podcast about our favorite doctor. All right. And Sarah, I worked at the U of I Health Center. That's a place full of stories. Sweetheart, I can understand that. I mean, I worked at the water company, and I got stories that terrify most people. And Steve Ellis shows up. Hi, fellow gangsters. There is the OG himself. Hashtag glad to see him, mon frere. Oh, man. And let's see. That reminds me, have I missed anyone else? Ted Davies. Glad you're here, man. Sorry. And Tyrone Tony Reed Jr. Glad to see you. Now, Facebook doesn't always tell me when you're here, and StreamYard never tells me when you're here, so please say something to me so that I can greet you with the love and adoration that you truly deserve. And Rick Bradley, I have my website. I don't have my website there. No, Rick Bradley has his website at authorrickbradley.com, and he's going to start a newsletter this month, so sign up today and keep tabs on him. Somebody needs to. I know the type because I own a mirror. And I came to see Brian's monster. Hashtag came to see Brian's monster. Well, you're now a Morris monster, according to Kat Rothermel. So glad to see you. So if you want to see my monster, you better step back a couple feet. It's big and hairy. Anyway, Christian continues on Facebook. Check out the Traveling TARDIS broke 34,000 subscribers. Well done, young man. Well done. That's fantastic. Congratulations, Christian. You have earned it. You seriously have. And let's make it 35K. Let's do that. Yeah, check out that page and please give Christian some love. He is a great guy. He really is. I'm so glad to have met you. And he does some really cool things creatively with Doctor Who in particular. And let's see him get some love, all right? And Christian Basil, pumpkin spice equals the Spice Girl who didn't quite make the cut. Yeah. Exactly. There you go. Or she only shows up in concert every fall. Ted Davies, good morning. Oh, big news for Retrieve. Big part of the journey. Go to Ted Davies artistry.com. I left out some of the letters there. Sorry, Ted. I know what that news is. It is fantastic. And we will be talking about that Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, the May 28th. At 4 p.m. on the OnCon channel here on Facebook. Ted will be my guest, and we're going to talk about all things Ted. And I'm thinking on Thursday, we're going to turn that into a spotlight show that we will talk to one creator, probably a comic book creator, and show off what he or she does. I think that would be a lot of fun and offer you a chance to ask your questions of that creator. And hopefully it'll inspire you to do your own work too. Check out the work of the artistry of Ted Davies. He is incredible. And Eric Hawkins, 5 days left. We are almost finished with the Kickstarter, and in 6 days we launch the Indiegogo for the Zombieful World of Oz #2. You can still pick up #1 through the campaign, and you get all kinds of, holy cow, is it awesome swag. Hey, what are we up to, Eric? Let me, if I can do this without shorting out the system here. Let's hit that refresh button because I'm curious what you did, and I'll just let that happen while we're talking. And that's not the page I wanted to go. And I think I just saw a thing for some other show getting canceled, but we'll check that out later. I think it's a next year's show even. Anyway, way to go, Eric. Way
Hey guys, I am hijacking the stream because I think Brian got kicked off here and his live stream is going. So, Brian, if you are hearing this, sign back in. The stream is still going, and I don't want to take over the show or anything like that. Yeah, Brian, I'm on your show. Come back. Come back to us. So yeah, your live stream is still going. The feed is still up. So if you want to pop back into the StreamYard with the same link, you should be able to get back in here. And on that note, I don't know. I was not prepared to be on camera at all right now. I think I'm in yesterday's shirt and maybe even the day before. Brian, yeah, Rick, it is a takeover. No, I am trying to salvage this show, and oh, I thank you. So I'm waiting for Brian to get back in here, and the floating eyeball going back and forth and looking like Max Headroom was kind of creepy. So I'm hoping that he gets back in here. There's a little bit of a lag as far as YouTube is going. And let me mute myself because that is really distracting. No, I am not taking over the show. I really want to make sure that that Brian gets back in here. And I saw that there was some technical difficulties. I don't know if he got booted out. Oh, you guys are so sweet. This is like my signature hat. And like I said, I'm killing time until Brian gets in here. I was not prepared to be on camera at all, but I saw that he popped out and I thought it was Facebook. And then I looked on YouTube and I saw that YouTube had the same thing. And then I popped into StreamYard because I can do that. I have the power. And I realized that he's not in the room, but his broadcast is still going. So I hope that he can make his way back in here. And if not, I am not at all prepared to take over Brian's show because I'm really bad at that. I don't do monologues. I'm much better with interviews. So let me see here. I've got the power for all the goodies here. Let me pop in here and see what he's got. Oh, here we go. One of my favorites.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Yeah, you have to laugh. This happens with live streaming sometimes. And I'm going to give him another minute or so and play this for you. Good stuff. All right, Mr. Brian K. Morris. Paging Brian K. Morris. All right, let's see. I am going to. Oh, he's rebooting now. Perfect. Okay, so I wasn't sure if I should end the broadcast. I really don't want to because I know that you guys are tuning in, and I just didn't want dead air because that is like the kiss of death when it comes to recording things. Live streaming can be such a pain in the ass, and I don't have that second that 7-second filter to censor myself. I'll say ass if I want to. Let's see here. So we're going to go through some of his comments, and I don't know where he left off because I was tuning in a little bit late. Steve Ellis here. Let's see. I think we've been through this one here. I heard you say MK Ultra. Wasn't that called Project MK Ultra? If I'm not mistaken, during Watergate, the CIA director ordered all MK Ultra files destroyed. Sounds like more than just another conspiracy theory to me. No idea what that's about. Let's see here. Going through again. I'm just killing time, guys. I'm not taking over, but I saw that that Brian got booted off here, and I saw that the live stream was going, and the eyeball, which is fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the eyeball, let me just show you. We are watching. And Brian's here. Yay! Brian, get your butt on here so I can get out of here. And because I admitted to everybody that
Yes.
I just admitted to everybody that I've been in like yesterday's shirt and probably the day before's shirt. So
Oh, tell
I'm a
us
dirty.
more, Meredith, but do it a little more slowly this time.
I'm so out of here. I'm glad you're back. Back to
Thank you so much, Meredith. Thank you so much. I have no idea what happened. Mwah, love you. Love you. And I'll be talking to you later. I've got something I want to discuss with you about the imposter syndrome episode.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Love you, hon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Meredith. Thank you all for putting up with this. Oh, man. I've never had that happen. And a huge thank you to Meredith for pitching in. She is the giantess of this operation here. Let's see if I can get anything close to a semblance of normalcy here. Now, you see, this will teach us something. We're not going to talk about conspiracy theories ever again on this show. John Pica, you are getting a muzzle put on you. And anything close to and there we go. And we're turning that down because we're like, can't hear it. Nevermorians never give up. That's right, Bill Sarton. My God, I am not going to give up. I am not letting the Illuminati pull me down. I will fight till the very end, and they will not win.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
I think they know something I don't, which wouldn't be which would not be the first time. Let's see if I have no way of knowing who has walked in before this thing went completely south on me. So let's just pick up and pretend it didn't happen, huh? Oh my God. Anyway, and Meredith Loughran, who has fled and is wearing the same shirt, and I'll pay you $20 for that shirt if you don't wash it. I've actually stopped chewing gum in public because I blow bubbles and snap my gum. Strange, the things I've become conscious of since my Sharona. I know, and isn't that a great guitar solo by Bren Figueroa in the middle of it? That's one of my favorites. Anyway, yeah, no, I understand. We all have to be more conscious of what we do now. Indie Creators Unite says, my sister makes masks that can be washed, plus you can cut out filters in them. And if we're going to do more than one place, we take that made masks with us. Now, that is properly precautious. And the Diesel Punk podcast says, Pica, jumping around from account to account because I can. That's right. You hardy individualists, you don't let them tell you what to do. And how far are we behind? Hey, I've been worse. YouTube froze. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell happened. Facebook too. Okay, I blame, maybe it was Facebook was doing something. Gee, Facebook misbehaving. Who'd have thought? Anyway, Meredith, weird. His broadcast is still running. Maybe Brian is having technical difficulties. Yeah, I suspect it's called Facebook. Now we have to know he has to go pee for 20 minutes. So, yeah, but most of the time I can get away with it unless, that's why I keep talking all the time, Christian. So you can't hear it. Anyway, Carl Westman said YouTube froze up too, but at least the room is still here. Weird stuff. And Brian K. Morris posted some sort of bull about ending the broadcast. Well, you know what, Brian K. Morris? Screw you. We're going on with this. I don't care what anyone says, which has been true most of my adult life. Carl Westman, Cookie found his hidden catch of Funko Pops. And she's laughing at that one. And she figured out what my password was for all that dinosaur porn I've been hoarding. And Carl Witzman says, yay for Meredith Loughran. I say that every freaking day of my life. I am so, in all sincerity, I love her. She won't know how much she has helped this broadcast, Meredith has. And I don't want to embarrass her, but yeah, I do. I don't care. Anyway, no, she's done so much. The look of what you see here and the sound of it is because of Meredith. And this show's going to be doing we're going to be making a few changes. I will say that now. We will announce it on late Saturday's show. It will be a change in our broadcast schedule. Don't panic. And bless you, Cookie. The Illuminati just infected Cookie with COVID-19, and she's sneezing now. Cookies! Anyway, and Rick Bradley... Cookies! That's right. Cookies Cooties, available now from Funko. It's now a new Funko Pop. Get your coronavirus 19 Funko Pop now. It's this big spiky thing. It's a bobblehead, too. And it's a takeover. That's right. You see, the black helicopters could not go. They could not go ahead and take over the show. Freedom lives on. All right, John B. Pica, Brian, you are so much cuter now. Yeah, you love me only when I'm purple and bloodshot. And I see it's a coup. Yeah, well, we've just done a resurgence here. We've ousted the rebel scum, and we are now in the process of having our Sith Lords force choke each and every one of them in the town square. And I told him about watching those porn sites. Yeah, I know. Thank you for those extra porn sites, Christian. I'd have never found them if it weren't for you. Carl Wisman says, "Where is Max Headroom?" Well, I don't know. Anyway, I love Max Headroom. That was a brilliant show. I gotta get the video of that one day. And Brian, you've changed, and for the better. Yeah, much better looking. Yeah, see, I told you. And Meredith Logren, you look like you're going to conduct a train. That's okay, because with my hand gestures, I look like I'm waving in an Airbus to onto the runway. And either that or Brian got real pretty. That's what I look like on weekends, kids. And the pills are helping. And Steve Ellis, I think it's the Project MK Ultra Gang. I've been programmed not to tell you any more about it. And Bill Sartin, just vamp until Brian comes back. And she did a wonderful job. Meredith, I can't say enough good about you. And Robert Beatty, it's all good. Most of us haven't changed clothes in months. Bringing the term scratch and sniff to a whole new level. And Rick Bradley says, the eyeball made me think of an RPG game called Paranoia. Yeah, all hail the computer. Yeah, this is Skynet checking up on you guys. I shouldn't have said a thing about John B. Pica. We got to keep quiet about that stuff. They're on to us. And the media giantess saves the day. Yes, she does, Carl. And everyone hail, give her glory as you stare up her toga. And Bill Sartin, keep vamping Meredith Logren. You know I wasn't going to give up. Brian said, screw it, he's phoning in the rest of the show. People have been saying I've been phoning it in for months, Robert. And Carl Wisman, Brian is rebooting now. And Carl, thank you for being my liaison between reality and this show. I appreciate you reaching out to me. And you too, Teresa Dunn. Didn't have time to look at your post to me because I thought it might have been one of those Microsoft updates again, but it didn't seem to be. I think it's something with Facebook. Gee, Facebook malfunctioning. Who would have thought? And here they are trying to get us all to open up our own chat rooms now. I have to say, I've been on Zoom. I've been in one Zoom chat, and I've been in one Facebook chat, and I'm like, what's the big deal, Facebook? Facebook is trying to be all things to all people, but not getting better at what it already does. So what is everyone writing this week? I'm still working on my project for Charles F. Millhouse, and I'm loving it. I've got, as well as things where I'm trying to put down the basic story blocks now. And of course, I'm doing that re-editing thing as I write, and I shouldn't be doing that. Everyone chat, Brian. Yeah, I'm like Candyman. You say my name 3 times, and here I am. And still working on my short stories, Carl. Excellent. That's what I like to see. And Teresa says hello to Meredith. And hey, ass is in the Bible, says Rick Bradley. And ass is behind the microphone here. And Nevermorians never give up. That is right. No matter what the odds, no matter what the evidence. And in the words of Larry the Cucumber, where is the Brian, says Harley Slavic. Harley, I'm glad to have you here. And he's still rebooting, says Carl Wisman. No, actually, that's my computer. I thought it was me for a second, but no, it was my computer rebooting. And Christian Basil said, you said ass. Well, I just said ass. Wait, I said ass again. Damn it, there's that ass again. If I make it all caps now, I have a big ass. And that's you. I think you missed it yesterday, Christian. What was it? Eric Hawkins said something about the governor of Illinois being a prick. And I said, I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that Governor Pritzker is a prick. You cannot make me read that Governor Pritzker is a prick. I mean, hey, Governor Pritzker may be a prick, but I'm not going to read that Governor Pritzker is a prick. You can't make me. So we've got to have some standards here, And here I was just talking earlier this morning. I popped in on the Indie Volt coffee shop or the coffee show with Randy Zimmerman, Varian Grant, and Rob Anderson. And we had a little talk about swearing, and I said I don't do it because it kind of limits my audience. And I've been told by several people that they appreciate the fact that I don't use a lot of blue language on here, and I do try to keep the blue language down to a minimum. As anyone who knows me personally knows that this is, if I can go 5 minutes without saying something nasty, then obviously I'm not feeling well. Rick Bradley, never give up, never surrender. One of the best movies ever. And Robert Beatty, well, Brian K. Morris isn't here, so it's okay to call my governor a prick. We are not going to let you call your governor a prick, all right? I'm not going to put up with you calling him a Governor Prickster. I feel his record should be enough to condemn him. And it's the other fellow, says Charles F. Millhouse. It always is, isn't it? And nice. And here we go. Rick Bradley, is it really Brian, or is it just an android sent to take us over? My supreme overlords won't tell you. And it's called Skynet, Brian. Yeah, Harley. I'm starting to believe it after this morning. All guys say that, Brian. This has never happened to me before. Well, really, this has never happened to me before. This, I'm how old, and surely people my age, this sort of broadcasting doesn't happen to. Okay, I'm down to the grounds. Apparently, I was drinking more than I thought. And see, Facebook. Yeah, there it is. Forget MK Ultra. Forget the black helicopters. It's Facebook. It's out to get us. And I've never had that happen, says Christian Basil. Things I've said in high school dating. Well, see, that's where I've got one up on you, Christian. I didn't date much in high school because, I was, well, you can imagine what my high school years were like. They were sad and contributed to my current dementia. And thanks, Meredith Logren. You are the Ed McMahon to the show. Seriously, thank you, Meredith. And thank you, Carl. Thank you, everyone, for putting up with this nonsense. And Kat Rothermel, mwah! Good morning, magnificent Morris Monsters. Happy Friday's Eve. Oh, yes. Happy day to the worship of the Thunder God himself, and yay, you are back! Yes, finally. And I'm still fine. I'm still 10 minutes behind in my comments. Brian, what did I say about watching those porn sites? Christian, you said stop doing it while you drive. I think was what it was, and I've been pretty good about it most of the time. Brian Rhodes, you guys shouldn't be bad mouthing the New World Order. See what happens. Yeah, see, we got to toe the line on this show. We may have to be, Tomorrow's episode of Nevermind the Furthermore will be brought to you by the Illuminati. By Illuminati-only projects, like you have a choice. Anyway, Charles F. Millhouse, Facebook is blocking my notifications. I'm so over them. You and me both. Every day I broadcast on Facebook, YouTube looks a lot better. You know what I'm saying? And Meredith is a gem. Hold on tight to her. Oh, John, if only her husband wasn't around and Cookie wasn't nearby. I'm telling you. Anyway, Jobby Pica, based on that, I want to hire her as my personal manager. She is my personal ass saver. What are you talking about, man? And she's now my guardian angel. If that doesn't get her drinking, nothing will. And Meredith Logren, sure, brighten this show up. Yeah, see, I brighten the show up by leaving it. Froze again. And, uh-oh. Yep, you guys mentioned the Illuminati when I was going, shame, you should know better. Bill Sartin, I finally figured out what your eye graphic reminds me of, the Frodus from the Monkeys episode, the Frodus Caper. Take that, Wizard Gluck. That's right. Wasn't that the final episode, the one that Mickey Dolenz directed, I want to say? But Brian, if you are not using an Ethernet wired connection, make sure you are. That will prevent this from happening again. I doubt that, John, because we still have to go through Facebook. And Meredith says, speaking of giantess, we should schedule that chat about these strange fetishes. Yes, we should. We really should. I think that would be a lot of fun. And Carl Witzman, yes, Meredith, I have a new one to discuss during one of my rants. Scary stuff. Uh-oh. Let's watch it. After this morning, let's watch that, John. And Christian Basil, is this going to happen every 20 minutes when you go pee? Maybe if I direct the stream differently. Oh, man. Oh, now all over the CPU. Okay, that's what happened. Anyway, John B. Pica, for everyone's info, Stargirl on CW is phenomenal. I decided just a few minutes in that it is the best superhero show on TV. I'm going to go over to the CW and see if that's online. I would love to watch that show because the girl who plays her, oh my God, she look like she stepped right out of the comic pages? And the thing is, the man who wrote her adventures, Jeff Johns, he's written just about everything at DC now. Justice League, Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern. I mean, he's written everything at DC. He's like their chief creative officer now in the organization. He's a great writer. He really is. I really want to see that show. I will watch that probably later tonight. And Jeff Johns' involvement is definitely apparent. I love that. He is a terrific writer. He used to work, I believe he used to work for Richard Donner back in the day and has written several great screenplays. Here are different links regarding my various ventures. If you want any collectibles from us, send us a DM or email him at harleyslavic.com. There are all of his email links, because if I start saying them, I will probably summon a demon. Anyway, check them out. Learn them, live them, love them, and see what Harley Slavic can do for you, okay? And John B. Pica supports Stargirl on CW, so we get more of this kind of quality comic to TV movie move translation. Yeah, seriously, we should. And Carl, glad you asked. I'm chugging a bottle of Chablis and writing a one-act places, Steve Ellis. Oh, you've got the proper order down. Very good. And shooting past. Okay, we're catching up. We're catching up. Speaking of support, check out Patreon with the Impossibles. Help John, move that cosplay / storytelling group forward. I really think that's a great thing, John. I really do. I think you've got something really golden there. And so what you're not saying is he's a prick, but he's not. No, I never tell the guy. I would never say, even behind his back, even though I'm nobody in the world of broadcasting, that he's a prick. I would not say that, because the rest of his electorate is probably saying the same thing, and he'd never be able to hear me. And Rick Bradley, you need to check out my first published work, The Marble, in the horror anthology The Nightmare Collective, available on Amazon in paperback and digital form, along with, make sure I get it right, seven other amazing authors. We will take your mind off this crazy real stuff and make you fear again. And it'll make Facebook work better. We are expecting miracles. And Christian Basil, Meredith rules. Actually, Meredith, I did have an issue recording on Tuesday that stopped streaming to certain sites. Maybe related to what I had this morning. And you're back. Thank you for your enthusiastic welcome, Michaela. I love you too. And riddle me this: will Bill Sarden's ad copy be creatively condensed, or will Brian K. Morris drown in a sea of comments? Stay tuned, Nevermorians. Same Fez time, same Fez channel. Actually, I read all this stuff. I don't know if anybody heard it. Oh, so you decided to come back? Yeah, I thought I would. See what you guys were saying about me. And I'm not disappointed. And that was not a Facebook issue. That was a StreamYard issue. It was somebody's issue, and then it became mine. I can handle it as long as it happens to other people. And Stargirl is on the CS app. Okay, cool. That is excellent. Or CW, I think. Rick Bradley says he has also started up some RPG lists along with Dave Woodrum at Fishwife Publications. And you can find them on Drive-Thru RPG and check out his first 2 random 100 lists. It's a good resource for writers as well. Check them out. Bill Sarnai said he also watched the new Stargirl pilot on CW app last night. And all I can say is, wow, you'll love the music on the show too. Well, cool. And I think I'm almost caught up. And I have the DC Universe app, and Stargirl is on there. Going to watch that tonight. I will watch that probably once I get home from my errand. And got to head out. Essential Health Insurance Day Job is calling. Well, John, I need you more, but I'm glad you were here. And we're never going to discuss about the secret societies ever again, are we, young man? Anyway, you have a good day, John. Glad you were here. Hope you have a fantastic day. All right. And Steve Ellis has got to run. Have a great day, mon frere and fellow campers. Have fun with that Chablis. Good luck on your play. And have yourself a great day too, mon frere. Have a good one. And this has never happened to me on OBS. My stuff, and Carl, that's interesting because I went through and I found I was trying to record my shows, and I would find that when I went through because I haven't checked my files since I started recording with OBS about 400 or 500 years ago, and I noticed that like for one date, I wound up with something like 800 different frames of like 0 to 10 seconds a piece, and I'm wondering, is that normal? Anyway, I've got to spend like a day. I wound up getting it down to under 1,000 of these saved things. That's crazy. I'm completely bewildered by all this stuff. I ought to just quit. John B. Pica, but before I go, the central hub of all my work can be found at www.johnpica.com. Check it out. The man's a fountain of creativity. John, again, thank you very much for your contribution this morning. It was a fun discussion, as long as they let us. Anyway, may the Hollywood lizard gods be in your favor all day long today. So anyway, yeah, it's like, well, this has been an interesting morning, hasn't it? So anyway, let's talk about something a lot more pleasant. And Carl Westman says, it was just about the time that I was saying that my next book was about conspiracies. Well, maybe it's not me that the powers that be who dwell under the waves that they truly fear. Maybe it's you, Carl. Maybe it's every one of us with a fez. That's probably it. I popped by, like I said, Varian Grant's and Randy Zimmerman's early morning talk show, their wake up coffee show. And I was accused of cultural appropriation. And I said, yeah, I stole it from Doctor Who. So send your Gallifrey letters of complaint to risingtide.pub. And yeah, send all your letters of complaint. Don't expect an answer at risingtide.pub, and we'll get to it as soon as we feel it's worthy of us. Anyway, and it's things like this morning. Was anyone watching me on, like I saw Michaela's been, and Carl Witzman were watching me on, and Meredith on YouTube. Did you guys see any, were you guys hearing me on on YouTube? I would be curious to know that, because it looks like if everybody was seeing that, then it had to be a StreamYard issue, which is bound to happen. I've just had fewer of them than I've had with with OBS is the thing. And the thing is, I attribute OBS to me because I don't feel I set it up right. I really don't. I am probably going to go back and reset the whole thing, just put it back to factory standard, then redo it a step at a time. If it froze on YouTube too, just the all-seeing eye. Oh, it froze on YouTube too, just the all-seeing eye. Okay, but could you hear me? That was the thing. Because I repeated, because I took up the comments from where I was at, which is, by the way, one good reason I am reading StreamYard comments. While it doesn't tell me when you show up, it does have more of your comments. Although sometimes I think from my Facebook feed, suddenly I'll have like this many comments, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11. Then suddenly the others pop up and show up. So, no sound. Okay, but Ted Davies can hear me now on YouTube. Okay, good. Then I'm not repeating anything. I was trying to keep up with your comments on my iPad, and that just wasn't happening. Anyway, but that's fine. That's fine. We got through it. And again, thank you all for your patience. So anyway, if you want to see a show that turned out much better, please watch the rerun of Clever Title Pending from last Tuesday. We had Cindy Kep and Charles F. Milhouse, who were absolutely amazing, totally amazing, and really enjoyed talking to them. We had a great conversation. And don't forget, this coming, not today, but 1 week from today, I will be taking over a slot on the OnCon channel on Facebook and YouTube. And we're going to be interviewing the one, the only Ted Davies. And he's got all kinds of really cool news going on in his life, plus a a couple brand new releases. We're going to talk about that, and we're just going to have a little casual chat about artistry, and I think we'll make it both ways. If somebody wants to ask me questions, I will field them. But anyway, we're gonna have a discussion show. We're gonna have fun with it, and let's see. And also this Sunday, don't forget, Nevermind the Furthermore. We'll have Chapter 7 of Sandestein. I will be reading that, and we are currently working on. I say we, but Cookie is working on the doing some preliminary editing on the audio for the Sandestein audiobook, which at the rate things are going, it will be out, and it'll probably be ready before we get to another show. I don't want to say anything. I did find out a show I was going to do in January just now canceled. It was a university-based show, and unfortunately, and I don't want to say anything until they make the formal announcement. It's one of those things where I sometimes see people who can't wait to, tell somebody else's news. So they say, well, I broke the news first, sort of thing. And I think it's, I'm a different kind of journalism guy. Like I get news all the time about shows starting and stopping or business deals that go on in the world of publishing. And I don't talk about them. I don't want to be the first on the air. For instance, I know that somebody, if I hear somebody say, is starting a podcast, I don't blurt it out to the world. I would rather the person who's doing it get their ta-da moment, that they get that moment of revelation. I don't have that much ego that I have to be first in that thing. So you tell me stuff, I wait for you to tell the world, not me. Harley Slavic says, for my movie theater, once I get it going, would you like us to use film projection, digital, or both? I would definitely use a film one to start with, as they are cheaper to obtain, but I would use both so I could do both theatrical and direct-to-video releases. What are your thoughts? Would show movies that theaters are not showing? That's an interesting question. Now, to me, it's kind of, I don't know when I would get down there, so I don't know. If the film quality, if the viewing quality of whatever format you're using was comparable, I don't think I would mind. I don't think it would matter to me as long as it was good. Now, the thing is, I know that one theater back in the 80s was using VHS. They had switched to VHS, and you said that they've now improved the process. And there was a small town theater that was trying to raise money for a larger theater in town in East Central Illinois. And they were running things using, they were broadcasting in a very small theater from DVDs. And you could tell there was a diminishment of picture quality and sound quality. As long as the quality was there, I wouldn't care. Maybe what you need to do is run some, get some test groups, invite some locals, and let them decide. Run, say, the first half in one format, the second half in another, and then poll them. That might be the way to do it. But anyone else have an idea for Harley? Please share. And can't wait. Ted, me either. And thank you for being my guinea pig on that show. We're going to work out the format together. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it too. And Harley Slavic, there is a link to the Movie House Cinema. That's the Movie House Cinema on Facebook. Check it out. And theater would be geared towards family and kids. And really, that is good. Now that's that could be something that you can turn that into an event. And my recommendation would be, if you could, if you have the proper license, serve as inexpensive treats as possible. Don't be charging like $20 for a tub of popcorn. And it's just me and Cookie. When we go to the movies, I could buy her a really nice dinner for what it costs to get concessions. That's why people bring stuff in, because concessions are so expensive. But the thing is, I learned that that's where the theater makes most of its money initially. That if they get a blockbuster film in, and they are showing it and the seats are packed every night. They have to turn all that money over to the distributor, who then about 3 or 4 weeks later lets them have a percentage of it back, and it's not the majority either. So that's why a lot of theaters are in trouble. Harley Slavic Theater still in the brainstorm stages. Well, it's a good storm. I would say go for the full blown disaster movie there. That is, I think you're onto something, Harley. I think a lot of communities don't have a place where families can congregate together inexpensively. Back in my day, I mean, when I first moved out of my mom's house, I was fortunate to move to a large town that they had a couple theaters close. They had to close down their drive-ins at the time, and just a couple years before. And when I was there, they closed one theater. One theater in town that were close to where I was living, but there were still over a dozen theaters in town. And I'm not talking about multiplex screens. I'm not talking about screens. I'm talking about theaters. Now it's considerably less. There in that community, there's like 1, 2. I think it's gone down to 2 theaters. So anyway, it's a challenge to keep a theater open, but some places are doing. There's a place in Fowler, Indiana, which is about half an hour from where I live, and they refurbished their theater, and they do first runs for $5 and serve reasonably priced concessions, and they do rather well, I'm told. George Seurat, it is a pleasure to have you, sir. A fantastic writer. Please check out the work of this man. Strong recommendation for the movie Out of Print on Amazon Prime. It's about revival houses and that culture. George, thank you for that suggestion. George, please put in a link to your work, okay? I would love it. And Morning Glory. What's the story, Morning Glory? Mwah, Cindy Kemp, star of Tuesday night's clever title pending with Charles F. Milhouse. Cindy, I hope you're having a great morning. You missed all the excitement here earlier. George says the New Beverly Theater in LA has double features for $8 a night. Holy cow. Well, there's a place near me. The matinees are like $6, I think. And that's refreshing. Of course, I don't go to movies very often because often I will watch a movie and I'm multitasking, like writing, and it's a little tough to to do that in a theater. The light from my laptop disturbs the people behind me. Plus the clack, 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 clack. Anyway, for my keyboard. But yeah, it's, maybe I would start going to more theaters if they were more reasonably priced. Maybe more of us would. That's why last year I found out that more people actually went to their public library than the local movie theater, which I think that's a great statistic to know. Seriously, because there is, we need to keep our library strong. And here we go. Cool books for the fine folks here. And it says Smashwords, and it's mine. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much. I so approve. I appreciate that too. Harley Slavic says I would show cartoons before the features like theaters used to do. Oh, I love cartoons. I still love. That was part of growing up for me. I can still remember. Of course, I was born in the 1950s, and we had there. I can actually remember a couple of like movie reels, like current news events. Some of the last ones, of course, but I can still remember seeing a couple of them when I was in the theater. I remember intermissions. At my age, I'm missing the intermissions, let me tell you. So yeah, I miss cartoons. Those were great times. And Rick Bradley, the theater in Harrisburg has movies on Tuesday night for $5. So that's good news. And Sarah, glad you're back and not the eye only. The eye was making you nervous, wasn't Sarah? And it will be reporting to me everything it saw. I'm looking forward to your report in particular. Anyway, Cindy Cap says, here too on Amazon. Thank you, Cindy. You're the best. You take such good care of me. I need it. George Seurat, much love, Brian. Much love to you too, George. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys check out my podcast. Yeah, Excelsior Journeys at podbean.com and Anchor FM. Hashtag from duck till dark. There we go. And that sounds like that's the sort of pun that Cindy Kemp would appreciate. Yeah, definitely check out the podcast that George puts together. Excuse me. Sorry, folks. I do have a button where I can like. But anyway, it works well. Anyway, Harley Slavic, we used to have a $1 theater in town. Yeah. What was it? I remember one theater. I actually lived about 2 blocks from a theater in downtown Champaign, Illinois. At one point, it's now a children's museum, but at the time, and this would have been back in the late '80s, they were charging like $5, and you could watch. They would frequently have themes. So like one day you could like sit there and you could watch like 3 Jerry Lewis comedies, and the next night it might be all Alfred Hitchcock, and the next night it might be like you know some foreign films, and that was great. That was like incredible entertainment for me at the time, because I just like especially on a Sunday, I would just like pay my $5 and go up to the balcony with a couple with a tub of popcorn and a soda, and just just party like it was 1899. And speaking of libraries, says Rick Bradley, Harrisburg Library is finally on Hoopla. I got crazy excited. Rick, check out Hoopla, please, and tell me what you think of it. I think anyone who has a library card should be on Hoopla. And it doesn't take business away from the library. Libraries treat it as one extra thing they can offer you. And that's how I keep up on graphic novels, comic books, and things of the like. Right now, you can check out 30 things a month. Normally it was like, what was it, like 14, 18, something like that. But currently they've upped it to 30, and I've been ecstatic. It's been glorious. I am catching up on all kinds of stuff that I wouldn't pay money for. Anyway, and a story that I could tell, and I can't wait to hear it, Sarah, and I really want the video more than anything. And Cindy Cap says, check out my newest release of great newness. Yes, out from Bear Publications, run by my friend Travis Perry. It's is that your brand new book? Brag about your brand new book, Cindy. It looked great. Artwork by the amazing Mary Pagna Finley. Mary Campagna Finley. I know I'm butchering that middle name. I think I got one and 3, but 2 may be an issue for me. But anyway, if that's the book I was seeing this morning, oh man, that did look good, Cindy. Seriously, talk it up, my friend. Talk it up. And Carl Witzman says, I used to watch movies in a theater near there, but that's a different story. Probably, yeah. I know probably the 2 you were thinking of. And actually, I was good friends with the lady that cleaned out the art. Oh, she had stories to tell. Anyway, George Ross says, and my own wish list for a theater is to be a host and share info about the movie they're about to watch. That's the one thing I liked about like some of the movie channels on when I did watch regular TV. That they would have like stuff on the show, and some of my favorite creature feature type movies back in the 70s, the host would come out and talk about the movie, and I thought I love that stuff. I love knowing more about it. And Bill Sarton says, attention nifty Nevermorians, click on Sarton Art 76, the artwork of Bill Sarton, where on Friday evening I'll be announcing my super spectacular sketch giveaway contest. The winner will get their choice of one of 3 of my specially selected silly sketches. This is one of many reasons why you should check out the artwork of Bill Sarton, where everything old is new again. All right, very cool. Bill, you're personable enough. You ought to be doing shows like this one so I can come on and heckle you. Anyway, Cindy Cap goes, I miss the excitement. Oh dear, sounds like it might have been the sort of interesting time that might fit the Chinese curse. Yeah, this show just kind of, StreamYard went haywire on me, and you couldn't hear me or see me, but that big glowing eye, the purple eye, kept looking at everyone. And I think I've triggered some people, or I probably should have triggered some people. The wrath of God is heading your way. And Rick Radley, I was going through the comics and I was blown away by what they have. Reading Spider-Verse now. Yeah, I caught up on all of the Rebirth stuff, and I'm currently going back through the New 52 at DC. Plus, I'm caught up on Thor and Champions and Amazing Spider-Man, and yeah, there's an Archie. I caught up with the Archie. Nick Spencer was writing Archie for a while, and Mark Waid. That was good stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. TV, movies, and I've been listening to some of the Big Finish Doctor Who programs on there too. Really good stuff. So yeah, if you have a library card and you haven't gotten Hoopla.com, you are missing something special, and it's free. It is free to use and to enjoy. George Ross says in New York City, the Ziegfeld Theater had a host come in for their Hollywood classics movies like Jaws and Planet of the Apes. Oh man, that sounds good. That is really cool. Harley Slavic, we have 2 theaters in town, but they are both both owned by the same company. They are not geared to strictly kids and are first-run theaters. We would mostly show older films, less money to obtain, and keep a little more of the stakes. Yeah, I mean, you still, except for public domain stuff, you still may have to pay something to the distributor, and you should. Don't think you're going to get around it because those guys play dirty. They do, like a lot of big corporations. So protect yourself. And TCM still has that from time to time. The movie channel or this TCM? Yeah, I was trying to think of. I can't remember what that stands for. Truth, Justice, and the American Way, no doubt. Anyway, so yeah, no, I applaud you, Harley. Harley, I give him credit. He's trying a whole bunch of different cool things, and that's the entrepreneurial spirit I really appreciate. Cindy Kep says, "Oh, this is her new book. Really, this is so cool. I really want to get a copy." Animal Eye is a gamelit tale about a VR game that allows people to play the animal companions of adventuring humans. One is Ava, a feisty crow. The other is Nagit, a powerful mountain shepherd. For an example of Nagit's breed, go look up Avchakra. Avcharka, I guess, or Big Fluffy Puppy. Avchakra sounds a lot more intimidating than Big Fluffy Puppy, doesn't it? We fear, come bow before the might of the Big Fluffy Puppy. I could just see that. I could work that. I really could, Cindy. No, that really, I was looking at that book. It looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful, and you may sound, you talked it up the other night. It was really great. Seriously, folks, please check out the last episode of Clever Title Pending from Tuesday night. Cindy Kep was amazing, and Charles F. Millhouse was his usual delightful self. It was a really fun interview. I had a great time, and I got all kinds of great questions from you guys and gals, and I was really grateful for that. And don't forget, while we're talking about broadcasting, at 7 p.m. Friday evening on the Geek Insider channel and on OnCon and anywhere else we can find to put that thing, Meredith Logren, who you saw earlier, will be back, and she is in the middle of a journey as the comics noob. She is currently trying to put together her very first comic book, and I'm really looking into that project. I'm really excited because we need more creative voices like Meredith's. And so she is interviewing people every step of the way. Last week, the episode on the Comics Noob was about writing comic books, which she has yet to do. And this week, she's got another topic about pitching comic stories. And I will be there since I have pitched many a story, and I've had stories pitched to me as a publisher. So hopefully we will provide some insight. And anyway, it's going to be entertaining and a lot of fun. So please check it out. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Comics Noob, N-E-W-B, Noob. And then we will still be broadcasting, hopefully StreamYard or less. And Saturday, we're going to have an announcement about our a little bit of rescheduling that we're doing. And Sunday, we will be reading the 7th chapter of Santa's Sign. And then 1 week from today on the OnCon channel and on my page and on Rising Tide and on our YouTube account, we'll be talking to Ted Davies live on the air. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I've got a virtual con I'm doing on Saturday, May 30th, but I haven't got any more information on it. But we will get caught up on that, and we will let you know what's up, okay? And can we play as Bebo? Yes, Carl Witzman, you can. You're an American. You can do what you want. And George Rod, this conversation actually gave me an idea to film my own introductions to the movies I selected for my CVQ Cinema Facebook page. Hope you guys check that out too. Well, I will try to keep that appointment, young man. That sounds cool. You should do more. You're an intelligent person and you know a lot about it. So you should, I think it's it's a natural for you, George. I really think so. I'm glad you got the inspiration there. And Clever Title Pending was a trip. It was. I had a great time, Cindy. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, although I don't know how you could. I had a blast. And let's see. And sorry, that's a Legends reference. I thought that looked familiar. And Harley Slavic, what would be good kids and family movies to show? Wow. Oh, wow. Holy cats. Hey, Western Night. Western Night, maybe you could show like there were several old Lone Ranger movies, John Wayne. A lot of there's just so much good stuff. I don't know even know where to start. Musicals, oh my gosh, musicals, we don't see enough of that. And Cindy kept says, oh, break is over, bug y'all later. You haven't bugged us yet, Cindy, we love you. In the meantime, do go get Animal Eye to find out how Ava and Nagid help their humans take out a zombie cyborg creator. Oh man, you had me at zombie cyborg. Anyway, Cindy, thank you for being here. Check this book out. Check out Animal Eye by Cindy Kep. It's going to be amazing. Thank you, Cindy. You have a great rest of your day, okay? And Rick Radley, what comic book would everyone like to see as a live action series? And who would you cast as the main character? Wow. Skyman. But unfortunately, I'm casting Gary Cooper because that's who I had in mind when I was writing it. And CVQ Cinema, the coronavirus quarantine cinema. George, that's brilliant. I love it. I thought that was official, man. That's brilliant. That is so clever. And do a Western double feature with one of them being Back to the Future Part 3. Oh my God, that's brilliant. That's well, we laugh about it, George, but wouldn't you say that the Back to the Future trilogy would be a really good triple feature for a family? And it could be something Saturday afternoon. You start the day with a couple cartoons for the kids, and you play that show, and then play, maybe have an intermission, then a couple more cartoons, then intermission, couple more cartoons, then the third show. I think that'd be an evening. Or here you go. Yeah, run Superman and the Mole Men with George Reeves. Yes, that was a film before it was a TV show, before they cut it up into TV shows. Superman and the Mole Men, then Superman the movie, then Man of Steel. How's that? Although Man of Steel is a little violent, but it is later at night by that time. Harley Slavic says, I was thinking of showing Hook at some point once I get the theater started. Now, Hook's a good choice. The original 2 Ghostbusters film would be great. Absolutely, says George Sorrell. My wife and I went to see the Ziegfeld when they screened Back to the Future 1, and so many kids saw it for the first time and loved it. Oh, I bet. Yeah. I think we sometimes forget, that, stuff like Back to the Future is part of our past, and we sometimes forget, people not being brought up to speed on the old stuff. They, probably think of that as like it might as well be a silent film or something. But because I can remember when I was about 10, 11 or 12, and my mom and I were talking one day about old time radio, and I'd never really been exposed to it except for a nightly serial I enjoyed on WLS called Peter Fugitive, for those who remember that. And she was telling me about how, what did you do before TV? I couldn't imagine what life before television was, because I'd been raised with television, and my mom was telling me about radio and how the family would crowd around the radio and just make a family evening of it. I just thought, went over my head. And then she got me that 5-volume introduced by Jack Benny record album set by the Longines Symphonette about the history of radio, which I still own, by the way. And by the end of it, I felt really bad for myself that I'd missed all this good stuff. But anyway, Hook is a great movie. Sarah, I couldn't agree more. Rick Bradley says Back to the Future trilogy is one of my favorites ever. Mine too. It's a great series of movies. It really holds up well. And would show Blue Steel also, says Harley Slavic. Oh, that's a thought. Well, and also an evening of Hitchcock movies like, say, Vertigo, Psycho, and what else would I show? Family Plot was pretty good. Family Plot had some humor in it. Topaz was a little grim. My parents took me to see Topaz when I was about 13, and mom and dad are like, maybe we shouldn't have done this. And I'm like, it's not bad. There are other Hitchcock movies I like better. North by Northwest would be a great film too. Hitchcock would be great. But, and then some of the classic films, like, say, show, this is a natural. The 1930s Universal, Frankenstein, Dracula, and The Wolfman. I think The Wolfman is one of the best movie series ever, because Lon Chaney did a great job as Lawrence Talbot. Psycho would be too dark for kids. Oh, well, yeah, that's for the most. Well, it's funny for the most part. I think you're right. Although I saw it when I was about 7, or maybe earlier. What year that? Whenever that year that came out. My parents couldn't afford a babysitter, and so Mom took me to the theater and said, "Now I'm going to let you watch this film, but you got to promise me when I tell you to cover your eyes, you do it." And she told me to do it just before the shower scene. And of course, I did what Mom told me to do because I'm an obedient little child. So anyway, now you got it, George. How about a Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein double feature? Yes. The two best in the whole series. Seriously, that's a great choice. Eric Hawkins, we are still bouncing up and down between 113 and 114 backers, but fear not, we are fully funded by a bunch, so everything is still good. That's for the Zombiful World of Oz, number 2, No Rest for the Wicked, and 3 of the 5 stretch goals have been unlocked. And now Eric, I want to see him hit at least the 4th one. I tried to get the total on that earlier, but I couldn't during the start of the morning kerfluffle. So hopefully you can give me a progress report later on. And Abbott and Costello, oh yeah, Rick Bradley, you nailed it there. Or Marx Brothers. Yeah, one of the things they had at that theater I was telling you about in Champaign, it used to be the Orpheum Theater. Now it's the Orpheum Children's Museum. But they showed one, it was like a Saturday and Sunday. They showed the first 5 Marx Brothers movies with all 4 Marx Brothers. And oh boy, was that a treat. Man, that's golden age comedy to me. And I would, that's another thing, Harley. You could run some of the stuff like a night of classic, like a couple of classic comedians that people don't see very often. Like say Mae West. Mae West is hilarious. She is one of the most underrated comedians ever. And also W.C. Fields. Even some of the old Ted Healy Three Stooges movies would be good. And now we got it. Laurel and Hardy, 2 of the best. Thank you, Sarah. That is brilliant. Yeah. But yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities. I hope that your community will come out and support your theater idea. I think it's a great idea, Harley. I really do. So anyway, I'm looking at the time. I looked at the time, and sorry we had kind of a kerfluffled, shortened intermission here. But what we're going to do is everyone who's watching, whether it's fresh or on the rerun, we are going to check out now because we've got a little traveling. We've a couple errands we've got to run. Excuse me, before we leave town. But anyway, like I said, programming notes. Tomorrow we will have a Nevermind the Furthermore, and hopefully the whole thing without an interruption, without Meredith having to bail me out. And let's see. And here we go. Let's have some few more. George Saras says, Harley, where's your theater located? And Robert Bay says, haircut complete. I felt normal for the first time in months. Robert, you may feel normal, but you're one of us. Don't deny it. Anyway, Harley Slavic, cool. I would, my collectible store in there too. Actually watched the Music Box last night. Okay, cool. Tyrone Monpod brilliant. Tyrone Tony Jr. had a great suggestion. Monpod Kettle, yeah. Or some of the films that Doris Day films. I grew up liking Doris Day films or Jerry Lewis films. Those would be great. And darn typo says Harley Slavic. Yeah. Eric Hawkins, see you in a few hours. Eric, it is a date, brother. And yes, Tarzan with Johnny Weissmuller. Yes. Those were fantastic. Good choice, Tyrone Tony Reed Jr. And so, yeah, with that, we are going to take our leave. Thank you all for your great compliments, your great suggestions. And thank you again for bearing with our technical difficulties earlier. So please put in links to what you do creatively, especially to your podcast, to anything you've got going. Don't forget tomorrow night at 7 p.m. the comics noob, Meredith Logren, who you met earlier, will be on, and she will be talking about pitching and accepting pitches at 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern, or Central Time, rather, 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's going to be part of the Geek Insider Network. It's going to be a lot of fun. Francis the Talking Mule. Yes, that is great. Or Looney Tunes from Rick Bradley. Oh, better, and gets better and better. And take care. There is the Movie House Cinema. Not around yet, just brainstorming. I hope it's happening in Marcos, Texas. All right. And HarleySlyvik@gmail.com for all your collecting needs. And everyone take care and stay creative. Rick Bradley, you do the same thing, brother. Thank you for being here. And like I said, Comics Noob tomorrow night, 7 p.m., 6 p.m. Central Time. And Carl, thank you again for all that you did, man. Appreciate it. And goodbye to everyone, says Carl Witzman to everyone. And we're going to say goodbye to you too, because Cookie's eager to get going, I can tell. Anyway, and Veronica Evans just showed up just in time for us to leave. Veronica, who is co-keyboardist and singer for Walk Among Us, a fantastic punk group that is keyboard based rather than guitars. They have a Facebook page here. Veronica, please put a link to that. People need to see all the amazing things you do. You're fantastic, and I miss you. Mwah. Anyway, Comics Noob at 7 tomorrow night, and Saturday we'll have a special announcement about Nevermind the Furthermore. And then Sunday, we will have the next chapter in our quasi-dramatic reading of Santa's Sign, the post-holiday Prometheus. That'll be on Sunday at our normal time, 10 a.m. But anyway, we have to get going. Thank you, everyone. And then also feel free to like the Facebook CVQ Cinema. Let's do that. And George is liking that page, and Harley's looking for suggestions. And Kat Rothermill says, Brian, safe travels to you and Cookie. Love you, Kat. Mwah, thank you for being here. Sorry we didn't get to talk more. Anyway, the rock and roll art goddess watches over us. So anyway, everyone have a fantastic day. Hope you all get to do something creative. Stay safe out there, even if no one else is. And we hope to see you tomorrow on Nevermind the Furthermore with me, Brian K. Morris, and hopefully everything will run a lot more smoothly tomorrow. So anyway, everyone, stay safe, stay smart, stay safe, wash your damn hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great day, everyone, and I hope we'll see you tomorrow.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!